Great. A very good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for beaming in wherever you are at. Just before we start the Indigenous Ways Wisdom Circle, just want to acknowledge the traditional caretakers and owners of the lands that we reside on here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, the Pueblo, and also to acknowledge wherever you are beaming in from this moment, to acknowledge the ancestors and caretakers of the lands that you are residing in, so we could all be here this evening. Thank you. Indigenous Ways is dedicated to bridging cultural exchange with people globally. We are very honored to have the Wisdom Circle, which is every Wednesday, this time, same channel, same time. And then since April to last Friday, we had it every Friday, the concert series. We're changing that of next month, where we'll be going once a month, and we'll tell you more about that. So with that, we go straight into, we're very excited this evening to have a very special guest who is joining us in from Pueblo de Santa Ildefonso. I was very blessed when I came to the States 14 years ago and was met the Tewa Woman crew. Evelyn was one of the amazing elders that was not only part of that establishment, but she's one of the co-founders. So I was very blessed to meet her back then, moving and shaking all the amazing things that she has been doing. So it's great that she is with us this evening. You know, right now she's the volunteer chair women for the local collaborative 18, known as the LC 18, and that is for the state of New Mexico behavioral health. And that serves 8 of the northern pueblos, including San Ildefonso, Santa Clara, Tasuki, Nambe, Powaki, Okeawinge, Taos, and Picarias pueblos. And so that's what she has been doing. Also, when I met her, she had just been voted in to serve for the tribal council. And it was such a great deal and such an honor that Evelyn had been voted in. And there she served for the next 8 years for her pueblo on the tribal council. You know, Evelyn has done so many things, and she has also been with us when we've done our concert series. Her and her wonderful sister, Elder Kathy Sanchez, who kicked off the Wisdom Circle on the 1st of April when we went online,
Wow.
uh, uh, came here and has done many a blessing, uh, opening up many things. So we hold Evelyn so dear to our hearts. So to have her with us this evening is such a great honor for us. And so with that, please let everyone welcome uh, Elder Evelyn Naranjo. Woo!
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm going to be opening up with a smudging of sage and allowing the negativity to go away from me and to feel blessed. Gunda. And this smudging goes to everyone that is here tonight and through all Mother Earth. May you be beaming in from international. I want to say Gunda. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be part of, to be to be part of the Indigenous Ways Wisdom Circle. Gunda. Thank you, Elena and Tosh, for allowing me to be here. I am very honored. Watamu, humbia gindi, hamba now no, endi wa hamba hot tunikut dying. We was saying wa hore can noe. Hamba nabi tete e sa ya e kia hawa no en. Wa hamba hot tunikut da. With that, I open in my language to acknowledge the spirits and to say thank you to all the generations that are here, all the generations to come. And I want to say Kunda. My given birth name is Tampovi, which means in my language, it means sunflower. I was born in the month of June, where there was probably fields and fields of sunflower, which I was told. I am from the pueblo of San Ildefonso, where the pueblo lives by the Rio Grande River. I am the descendant of Maria Povica. Santana and Adam are my grandparents. My mother, Anita Martinez. I have 5 children. My oldest is Myra. My second, Suzette. My third, Terrence. My fourth, Charles. And my 5th child, Kimberly. I am 66 years old, and I am one of the founders of Table Women United since 1989, 31 years ago. In 1986, 64 years ago, I was living an alcoholic life. Alcohol controlled my life. Today, I am living a sober life. I am blessed with 16 grandchildren. Oldest is 34 years old. The youngest is 13 years old. I am blessed with 12 great grandchildren. Oldest is 13, and my youngest great grandson, whose name is Grayson, is a year and a half. He was born with a cleft palate. He has been going through surgeries. He is a survivor. He is one I look up to. In 1986, I was committed to a treatment program at New Moon Lodge, which is at Oke, for men and women. It's a halfway house now for men only. In 1986, 3 years after I stopped drinking, I started sharing my life stories, my trials, and my tribulations of what I went through trying to get sober. And there was founded Table Women United. I am very happy and honored to be there. In 1990, I went to Northern Community College to get my GED, and I'm proud to say I got my GED. And while I was there, I took classes. I took cosmetology courses. There I also finished with cosmetology certificate. After that, after working and struggling, then I went and started being a women's counselor. And I was there for 3 years at the Embudo Treatment Center. That's going up towards Taos. So I was there working and helping other women through their struggles and sharing my life stories with them. It was a blessing, let me tell you, of hearing their life stories, thinking that I was the only one struggling through my alcohol problem, and to know that it wasn't just me. In 1993, I started working at the Santa Fe Indian School. That's the old campus that is now torn down. it's not there. I was a dorm mom for young women and young men. And let me tell you, I enjoyed working with young women were challenges, the young teenagers. Young boys were respectful. I was their dorm mom for that many years that I was there. After that, I started working with the ENIPC 8 Northern Pueblos as a alcohol counselor. And I was representing again the Northern Pueblos. So I enjoyed what I was doing and sharing. In 2001 till 2007, I was teaching at the O Center, doing teaching the black on black pottery, which is located on the Pojoaque Pueblo Reservation. After that, in 2008, I was self-employed, meaning I was self-contract. So I was a pottery instructor till today. In 2011, and so what I'm sharing with you is my life story from 1986 to where I'm sitting at today. And then looking at my papers, I'm like, wow, that's a journey. And people ask me, well, when do you have time for yourself? And I say, my time is in my home. When I enter my home, I leave everything behind. So when I enter my home, I ask for blessings, whom I've reached out to and shared my life stories. In 2011, my daughter's home got vandalized, and I'm trying to find the term vandalized. Busted walls, busted TV. And while I'm sitting here looking around my home, all what happened to her and my kids, everything was torn down, busted. Not only that, their family pet, a family rabbit that they owned, that they had and cared for, was viciously killed. And what hurted me the most was seeing the hurt in my grandkids' eyes. The questions they asked was, why did that happen to us? I couldn't answer that. So in 2012 is when I reached out and asked, how can I be of help to my community? That's when I established, and I'm the co-founder and a volunteer coordinator for Pueblo de San Ildefonso Neighborhood Watch. What I did at that time was bringing in awareness and to be vigilant of our surroundings and to be neighbor to neighbor. People ask me, well, are you out there 24/7 patrolling? I said, no, that's the Department of the Law Enforcement. What I was doing was bringing in guest speakers that was speaking from the heart. And out of all this has been so positively welcomed. In 2013, like Elena had mentioned, 2013 and 2014, I was elected into the tribal council by my Pueblo community. And it's an election that is held. I self-nominated myself. I filled the papers, but let me tell you, I was walking to the building slowly, thinking, am I doing the right thing? And when I got to the door, I opened it and I said, I'm going in. I'm nominating myself. And I walked in with my head held high. I put down my papers and they said, okay, you're checked. And I walked out of there thinking like, oh, wow, this is something. So I had to go out there and speak to people, talk to people, and really move forward in what I was doing, meaning with my awareness that I was bringing in. So I was elected and I served for 2 years. I also ran again in 15 and 16, but I was tied with one of the tribal members here. So what happened was they flipped the coin and she got in, the other council lady got in, and I didn't, which was fine because I said I needed to take care of what I started. So thereafter, I've been moving forward. I've been self-employed for the many years. And I was writing down, sitting here before this program, and I was going through the many years from 1986 to 2020. Oh my gosh, that's a life story. And this is what I tell to my grandkids. I have them think of an imaginary number from 1 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60. And I said, that's how many years yeah, Evelyn has been here. 66 years. And can you imagine the little ones looking up and say, wow, Saya. Saya means grandmother in my language. And they would say, wow, Saya. And so now, where I'm at now, I've been teaching here in my village. I'm a instructor. I teach black on black pottery, which I am a descendant of Maria Martinez Ovica, my grandmother Santana, and my grandfather Adam Martinez, and my mom, my mother Anita Martinez. And from there, I've learned and I watched when I was little, sitting down by my great grandma, watching her knit the clay, pounding it, putting it aside. And it wasn't on a table, it was on the floor. And then she would get up and then get back down on the floor and start knitting it again and start pounding it and then putting it aside. What I'm talking about is the clay. We use traditional Mother Earth clay, volcanic ash, and this is what I tell my students. Do you know where the volcanic ash comes from? And they're like, oh, I don't know. I said, it comes from a volcano. And they say, wow, how do you get it? And I said, we're surrounded by volcanoes. We're surrounded by volcanic ash. It's a lot of labor, and I call it labor of love because we have to go out there and collect the materials. Then we also use horse manure, and we also use cow manure. And then we use cedar wood. We have to fire it, outside traditional firing. And they get interested. So when I teach to my community, my young communities, to the adults, what they say to me and they look at me is, wow, this reminds me of my grandma when I was sitting by her, or the smell, the pottery clay. They're always acknowledging me, thank you. They're always saying Gutna Woha means thank you very much. So I enjoy teaching. Then I also teach the micaceous pottery clay. Micaceous we gather up in the northern mountains. That's way up in the Piccaries Mountains. There's some in Abiquiu. There's different colors of micaceous clay. So we have to go out there, and I call it, again, labor of love. Then I also teach traditional beaded wristbands and bead work. Now let me tell you, it's very intense too. You have to sit there and beadwork. And if there's artists that knows what I'm talking about, just connecting that bead, connecting. And we use that for our traditional dances. We use that for our traditional ceremonies. Then I also teach embroidery. And I teach the adults, and I teach the embroidery work because we also use that on monk's cloth. That's another type of sewing, putting it in, taking it back out, sewing it back, the yarn, pulling it out. And we use that for our traditional dances, and the men wear that. And they wear that when we're doing the dances. So I guess you could say, an artist at heart. What I've learned from my great grandma. I have a picture of my great grandma Maria on the right side of me. And I always ask her for guidance. I always ask for guidance to my grandma and my grandpa and my mom. Because without their guidance, without their spiritual guidance, sometimes we find ourselves like we're lost. So I'm always asking for in guidance. My gosh, that's a journey from 1986 when I first sobered up. I'm looking at my paperwork, and I know Elena mentioned to me, put it right here beside you so your eyes won't be falling down and you'll be looking up. And I'm like, I have bifocals, and I'm trying to look at it, and my eyes are adjusting. I guess being 66 way up here, it happens. And I'm a storyteller. I'm a storyteller at heart. I always, and this is part of my life story that I'm sharing with you now, the trauma that I went through, the trauma that I put my kids through, the historical trauma that my grandmas, my ancestors went through, the historical pain, the suffering, what they went through. And look at where we're at today. Today we live in the fear, and we have to remember fear controls us. But we can control the fear. And as I said earlier, we ask for guidance. We ask for spirit guidance. Today's subject, and Elena had mentioned to me, was rise and resilience. So what I put on my paper is rise. I stand up tall today. So when I stood up in 1986 to today, I rose up into a beautiful sunflower, living a grateful, sober life. Life is not perfect. We live in this society of many life changes. Our ancestors lived a trauma life. Can you imagine no electricity, no running water, no phones, no reliable cars or trucks? Wow. And if I said that, I was raised there too, because I remember at my grandma and grandpa's house, middle of the night, run into the outside house, middle of the night, running back in. No running water. We had to go down to the river and get water and then come back up again. And I remember my grandpa's, I would say probably a 1950, my year age, 1950. I was born in 1954. So I remember those old trucks. And my grandpa had a old truck that had a flatbed. And boy, let me tell you, he hauled everything on there. And I remember they were sitting us in the back, and we'll be going down the road, bumping, going to the store. And he also had a big cornfield. And then I remember there was a pig farm on one side. It wasn't big. Chickens. And I remember going out there, feeding them, getting hollered, before you go to school, make sure you feed the animals. Man, before you come from school, make sure you feed the animals. I was going to the community day school, and it's just a walk down below. Today, kids get on buses. Today, there's public schools. They get on the bus and they go to school. Resilience. And I had to look it up on Google to find out what does resilience mean. What it says is it's a capability to recover quickly from difficulties and to be tough. Can you imagine our ancestors from where they were at to where they are today? Resilience. Like my great grandson, whom I talked about, going through surgeries for his cleft palate. And he still has a lot to go through surgeries. He's a year and a half today. So I am grateful. This is a quote from my granddaughter, Mariah. And I found it posted on my refrigerator. And it says, always stay grounded. Don't lose your roots. And that stopped me of thinking of my roots that I talked about. The many years from birth to where I'm at. The roots of where what I was given from my great grandma. I shared with each and every one of you of how many grandkids I have. I have 16 grandkids. And when people ask me, how many grandkids do you have? And they probably think, oh, I'm going to only say 3 or 4. Whoa, let me tell you, when I say 16, they're like, really? 16? And I say, yes, I'm blessed because I'm blessed with their life. Because of the many generations to come. Then they ask me, how many great-grandkids do you have? Do you have any? And I say, yes. I have 12 great-grandkids. I say, 12 great-grandkids? You don't look that old. And I say, thank you. I say many blessings. But I am blessed. Let me tell you, I am blessed with my grandchildren. I am blessed with my family. I am blessed with my brothers, my sister, my brother Garrett, my sister Kathy Sanchez, my older sister Barbara Gonzalez. There was 8 of us. And there's only 4 left. The other 4 have gone to the spirit world. And I always pray to them to give me guidance also, to help me through where I'm at today. It's a blessing. I say Gunda every day, and I tell my people and my students who I teach, before you go to bed, say Gunda, thank you. As soon as you wake up, say Gunda, thank you. And then you walk, and then you find what you need to do. And that's where I'm at today. And I remember the day when I was in my treatment room, I was down on my knees and I was praying. I was asking the Creator to help me. That was in 1986. And I was asking the Creator to please help me. What do I do? Where do I turn to? And let me tell you, and I tell this story, I stood up, and boy, let me tell you, the weight on my shoulders just went away. And I said, I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do to take care of myself. And that's when I turned and I said, that's it. I'm living a sober life. And today I have not touched or not have gone back to drinking. But let me tell you, it's not easy. There's alcohol establishment all over. And like I tell my kids, my grandkids, I tell them, you know what? There's days I get so mad. There's days that I get so angry. There's days that I want to just give up and go take that next drink. And they look at me, they says like, Sayana, really, Grandma? And I said, you know what? Sometimes I feel that way. But then I stop and I tell them, but because of you and because of the grandkids, because of my kids and the community, I don't. So that gives me that courage and strength. One day I was in my house here, and my little granddaughter, she was probably about 10 years or younger. She came running in, and then I was in the back room, and she said, Saya, Saya. She said, Grandma, Grandma. And I said, what? I'm back here. She goes, hurry, there's 2 eagles outside. I said, 2 eagles? I said, how could there be 2 eagles? I said, hurry, Saya. So I dropped what I was doing. And of course, I went to get my cornmeal in Blessings. And I reached for my traditional cornmeal. And I walked out. I ran out. And let me tell you, 2 eagles were flying right on top of my roof area, just going around and around. And all of a sudden, they started traveling and traveling and traveling, and they were gone. And I tell my granddaughter, I say, you know what? They also answered one of my questions that I've always asked. Am I doing the right thing? Every day we're always asking, is it okay? And one thing that I hear is, if your gut is telling you, stop. If your gut is saying no, think about it. And if your gut is saying yes, go for it, then go in that positive term, positive ways. That's what I talked about. And I always share this in treatment programs when I do presentations. I also teach at treatment programs also, the black on black pottery, traditional pottery. And that's one story that I tell. And each men that are standing there, it's just like, wow, 2 eagles? And I said, yes. But let me tell you, I tell them, when I was outside, right on my car, they left proof. So they left one of their droppings. And it was not a bird dropping, it was an eagle dropping. So that's what they left. And that's the story that I say. So now what I carry with my eagles, the story of the eagles, as I said earlier, I'm the founder, volunteer coordinator for Pueblo de San Ildefonso Neighborhood Watch. My community, we were sitting down and thinking, we need a logo. We need something to represent. And guess what? My grandson, who was here earlier, Turtle, he was around in the building going like this. And he said, Saya, we saw an eagle today. We were at the zoo. And he kept going like this. And he was flying all over. And he stopped where I was standing and he said, you know what? Eagle. I said, eagle is going to represent my neighborhood watch. So my grandson drew and represented to represent my neighborhood watch an eagle that's holding my pueblo, an eagle who is bold and courage was holding my pueblo. And here in my pueblo, if you've been here to San Ildefonso, there's a big cottonwood tree right in the middle of our pueblo. And in the picture that my grandson drew, the cottonwood tree is right in the middle. And the two ceremonial kivas that represent my pueblo is on the side. And the eagle is wrapping. And that's one thing that I have. And I have that. So I know time is precious. And I know we're here. And they tell us on a borrowed time, don't forget, we don't know when we're going. When the Creator calls us and knocks on the door. And we pray every day. And one thing that I've learned through my lifetime is asking for forgiveness. I always ask for forgiveness. Forgiveness to yourself, forgiveness to others who you've hurt it. And boy, let me tell you, through that 1986 that I talked about, how much I've hurt my children when they were little with my alcohol problems, how much I devastated their lives, how much they've carried. When I came out of treatment, that's the first thing I said, forgive me. It took a long time. I'm not going to say it was overnight. Till today, there's days, and I say, I'm sorry. And they say, oh, that's, Mom, that's the past. Today's today. They always tell me we're grateful to see you sober. And that's one thing that I carry in my heart, my sobriety. Till the day the Creator calls me. So I want to say Kunda to Elena, and Tosh. Thank you very much for allowing me to share my life journey from birth to 66. Wow. And I am telling you, I feel blessed. I've done traditional blessings here, meaning I've danced traditional dances here. I've did birthing. I've been present and been there with all of my grandkids. And it's an honor when they tell me, Mom, do you want to cut the umbilical cord? And I'm like, me? How about the dad? Says, no, Mom, you. So even that is an honor because it brings life. It brings that connection to who I am. About 3-4 months ago, and maybe it's earlier, and we talk about this with my family. I've had one of my miscarriage, and we did traditional burial, and it's a traditional blessing because we let go and we allow the spirit, the little babies, and just think the Creator takes babies because they need that type of love and caring. So I want to say Kunda, and I'm going to light my sage again. In my language, I'm going to do a closure. And I want to say Kunda to each and every one of you through my life journey. And to say thank you. I want to say Kunda. This is one of my bear bows that I made. This is one of my bear bows that I use for my sage. So, and I have my candle lit here. And I'm going to take off my glasses, my eyeglasses, because when we do traditional closing, and I do in respectfulness say, forgive me that if I didn't take it off my glasses earlier, but I'm taking my glasses off because I'm going to be putting a closure to each and every one of you that felt my hurt, that felt my pain, my laughter, my stories, my cry, my emotions, my anger, and again to know where we're sitting at today with this COVID 19, this pandemic that has hit us. And let me tell you, just like I said in my first prayer opening, resilience, what my grandmothers and the ancestors have gone through. Resilience. We are strong. We are bold, just like the eagle that hold us together. May it be a four-legged animal, may it be a two-legged animal like the eagle and the birds that are out there, and may it be a human, male, female. Don't forget, we were conceived, male and female. We have those together. We have those strength as a male, emotion as a woman, emotion as a male, and strength as a woman. So we have all of that. So I want to say good da wo ha on be acting the wa uro acting hanan de pi wa atoni good da wa no vitori wa hamba hone re hi and the wa hamba ho ka inamo wa atoni good da on be kage ni the wa no ri mo it sikiri wa hamba atoni good da. With many blessings, have a good evening. I want to say good da and share all this with each and every one of you. Thank you. Good da. Many blessings to you all.
Gunt, Evelyn, kia ora, Evelyn. Thank you, Evelyn, for blessing each and every one of us with the rising and resilience in your own personal journey to right now.
Yes.
Just as we are integrating the medicines that Evelyn has shared, and before I bring everyone in, if you're in Zoom, I'm just going to go into a transition of what's going to be happening this time next week in the Wisdom Circle. We have the beautiful Aletta Toland. She is from the Navajo Nation, Lukachukai in Arizona. She is deaf. She's going to be blessing us next week in the circle with her story. And just sitting with her and just listening to snippets of it, I was captivated. And like Tash said earlier to Evelyn, listen, we're going to be here till midnight. You've got so many stories. Evelyn, I was kind of grooving into it, and then it was over. But these stories are all the weavings of how we rise together. These wisdom circles and the Indigenous Ways virtual events are possible because of our sponsors. So, a big shout out and thank you to the National Endowment of Humanities, New Mexico Humanities Council, Westaf, Westaf Cares, the New Mexico Arts, and the National Endowment of the Arts. Below me, you'll see flashing all our social media sites that we have and that we're beaming out live to at the moment. So if you're watching a recording of this or if you're watching this live now, please be sure to like our page. We gratefully appreciate that. And then what's happening in September? This is the first week of September, and also it is also, if you're in the States and taking this in, it's National Suicide Month. So I just want to recognize that as well, and part of the rising and resilience that we've been broadcasting out. We've just been blessed by Evelyn. As you know, next week we've got the beautiful Aletta who will be blessing us, followed also by the 16th by Joshua Dixon, who is an artist. He is also Dene Navajo, followed by Lynn Dean. There might be a familiar name to you. She is the nurse that we have been connecting with the 4 Black Mesa runs that we have done, and providing emergency food and supplies there. She has been our contact, so she'll be blessing us on the 23rd of September. And then we're going to be finishing with an extraordinary student from Dene College, Latanya Thin. She is the president, the student president. She's going to be sharing words with what she's been done. I said a little bit earlier that at the concert series, we'll be taking a sabbatical this month, and that means what will happen in the month of October. We will be going one concert series a month, and we will continue doing the Wisdom Circle weekly. If you want to know more about this, our website is above, IndigenousWays.org. It has all the profiles of all these incredible people, including Evelyn, that you've just heard. But it tells you their websites and all of those incredible things. And this is something that we are super, super excited about. Um, Please mark your calendars. On Saturday, September the 26th at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time, we're going to be beating the blues. We've been in this situation since mid-March, and it's all about keeping each other safe, our elders safe, the distancing. So there's a lot of blues and incredible changes. We're partnering with the Lensic. We have the extraordinary Americana blues performer, Kebmo. He will be performing. We're going to be trying for Indigenous Ways. We're going to be trying getting over 1,000 people to buy tickets. The tickets are $15 a device or $15 a household, and you'll get this extraordinary evening. It supports not only the Alenzic, Indigenous Ways, 3 other nonprofits in Santa Fe will be benefiting from this concert, to help them keep doing this. It's all online. So if you're in Australia, New Zealand, globally, East Coast, West Coast of Turtle Island, uh, please support this in buying a ticket. You can purchase them at lensic.org /events/beat the blues. Okay, more information at Kebmo, who's a 5-time Grammy winner. You can find at IndigenousWays.org events. If you want to get onto our mailing list or getting the newsletters, please send us or go to our website above, IndigenousWays.org, and more information will be there. And then we're going to be doing another relief run after the Kebmo, early mid October. We'll get those dates for you. This is Lindeen in the white shirt who will be blessing us on the 23rd of September. But we just wanted to share those wonderful details with you. And if you're in Zoom, while you're turning your cameras on, if you want to turn your cameras on and meet Evelyn or share some words with Evelyn, please, if you can, do turn your camera on. If you're having trouble, I'll come along and turn those on. And while I'm doing that, Tash, what did you want to say?
I want to say a lot of stuff. First of all, I want to thank you, Evelyn, for oh, by the way, this is me, Tosh. And I want to thank you, Evelyn. We just love you. Your sister, Kathy, is in here tonight. And your niece, Madini Kailahi, she says, Kuda waha ko'o Evelyn. And there's a heart. And then Sheshiaje. Sheshiaja Charlie says, tell Evelyn I said ya'ate and a hehe, thank you. And then on Facebook, a Janie Immerman says, wow, what an inspirational and moving story and life you have. I am blessed to have been here to hear you. Thank you for inspiring this evening. And Sheshiaji saying, how can we order a bear bowl from Grandma? And Shashiaja is saying that, by the way, Shashiaja, everybody that doesn't speak Navajo, means little bear. Hi, little bear in California. She says she misses you, Evelyn. And Blessings to all. And we got a lot of people on Facebook watching us. So hello, everybody. We love you. Thank you. Kathy Sanchez, you are our hero. So is your sister Evelyn and all your San Ildefonso mob. Thank you for bringing Elena this way. Kitty Moss, everybody, thank you. Cindy, nice to see you here. Yay. Welcome to Indigenous Ways.
Hi, thank you.
So with that, thank you for that, Tash, and sharing with anyone. Now we're all on Zoom. If you're on social media, just put something in your chat box. Thanks, Tash, for sharing all those that have, while the beautiful Miss Evelyn's been sharing, have been blasting the social media pages. But those that are in Zoom, who wants to start? And when you start, to make it easier for our interpreter, can you just say your name so the interpreter can find you and able to interpret for you? And if you're deaf and you want to say something, just wave and just go for it. I'll call your name so then the interpreter can see you, or Tash will. But who wants to start? Where you go, Richard?
All right. Well, thank you. I just want to say to Evelyn, you come from heavy people. And I have, fortunately, a book.
Oh, yes.
And I, of course, admire her. It's too bad I discovered her once she passed, but I look at that and I look at you and I see her.
Yeah.
I do. I'm real serious. And I'm so glad she did what she did.
Yes.
And I'm so glad she has relatives like you.
Thank you.
All I can say is you're incredible. There's a lot of us who have to go through a lot of crap to get where we are now. I think I'm one of them. It took me a long time. It took a long time to be comfortable with myself. So I understand that. So thank you, Evelyn. Thank you for your relatives. Thank you for telling your stories. Someday I'd like to meet you. I'd like to meet every one of you. But who knows? Who knows what will be?
Yes.
If not, at least we know each other here. Thank you.
I'm also in that book that you have. I'm not too sure which page. That's where I just talked about my life story. I'm there kneeling down with my grandma.
Okay,
I'm also in that book.
it's a great book. The person who put this out, I'm eternally grateful because I already knew about Maria. I'd heard about her because I love pottery. I love Pueblo pottery particularly. There isn't a Pueblo that doesn't have pottery that I don't admire. It speaks to me. Most Native art speaks to me. European art doesn't. I don't know why I was that way, but I am that way, and I'm not going to fight it because Indigenous people have been more my teacher than anybody. Even though I felt as a child I was there because I grew up single in the country, and I knew about nature. And when I heard Native people talk about it, hey, I totally got it. It wasn't a big deal, but it seems like most of my Caucasian brothers and sisters just don't get it. But that's their problem. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Richard.
This is
Tosh.
This is Tosh.
Hang on, Tosh. Can I just say this?
Okay.
Richard, I don't know where she is on your screen, but on mine below you is the beautiful Kathy Sanchez, who is Evelyn's sister.
Yeah.
Kathy kicked off our series, The Wisdom Circle. It's all archived as like Evelyn's video will be archived at our website, IndigenousWays.org, virtual events. It's worthwhile if you have not watched Elder Kathy's video, who talks about the butterfly medicine and how we do this together. I also want to put a plug for Kathy's daughter, Dr. Corrine Sanchez, which is also Evelyn's auntie, niece, has been on here, and several other extraordinary San Ildefonso women. And as you said, Richard, when you opened, they are fierce, and they certainly are, and they carry themselves so graciously, and there's a fierceness of let's doing it and doing it together. Okay, who else wants to share something?
Elena, is there some way that I can see the people's faces too? My camera's not showing that.
Yes, there is, Evelyn. If you go to your, now, I'm sorry, this is on your end. You'll have to
Okay.
go to where your picture is. See where
Okay.
your beautiful picture is. There's going to
Okay.
be 3 dots in the right-hand corner. Oh, actually, no, I'm telling lies. Go up
Linda,
to the
can you
top of
teach
Zoom.
Cindy also? Cindy wants to know also. She's new. Cindy from
Okay.
Minnesota. She
There you go.
doesn't know how to work Zoom.
Okay.
Oh,
Cindy and Evelyn, if you go up to the top right-hand corner, there's a thing that'll say speaker view. If you click it, it'll say gallery view.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then you'll see all these beautiful faces that are beaming
Oh, there you are. Good. Hi.
Okay, who would like to share? If there's no other shares, we'll shut shop. Is there anyone wanting to share? Hang on, Richard. We'll see if there's some other people
yeah,
that haven't
I'd love-
shared yet. Oh, we're all quiet tonight.
Come on.
Okay, go for it, Christina.
Here's your chance to talk to somebody wonderful.
Hang on, Richard.
Okay, Christina.
This is Christina speaking. Hi, everyone here tonight. Evelyn, just hearing your live story, just so amazing. Thank you for sharing with us because you're our teacher. Every single one of us, we are also teachers.
Mm-hmm.
We are teachers of life.
Yeah.
And we learn from life, we learn from ourselves, and we teach others, and others teach us. And
Yeah.
we're all here together to teach each other. I
Yeah.
think you are a great teacher. Just listening to your life story, understanding your pain, understanding that there is pain and that it exists. Your lesson teaches us that. Your lesson taught me how to see life in multiple ways and to be able to appreciate your message that you shared with us. I'm just so grateful. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you, Tosh. Thank you, Elena, for having Evelyn here, sharing her story of her journey with us tonight. And also, I'd like to thank the 2 wonderful interpreters here tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Thank you.
And again, thank you again for offering this event every Wednesday. Thank you. I feel it helps us. It gives us that guidance in life so that we can make the better choices and have the correct direction in life. And with
Yeah.
that, I'll wrap it up and I'm done.
Thank
Okay,
you.
this is Tosh speaking. Cindy, my sign name is this. This is my sign name for Tosh, T-A-S-H. Welcome, Cindy from Minnesota. Thank you for being with us. We have our beautiful interpreter, Chris, who's voicing for me. Cindy, just to let you know that next week, everybody, this is for everybody. Next week, we have my best friend. She's Navajo from the Navajo Reservation. She's deaf. She taught me sign language when I was 11 years old. She's going to be presenting next week. So tell all your Indigenous deaf people that we have a deaf signer next week that's going to be sharing her story, okay? So next week, Wednesday, 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And I think Minnesota's probably Central Standard Time. So that's 7 o'clock. But thank you all so much for being here. Christine McD, Donna, Christina Bueno, Dusty, wow, Mom, Harry, Kaylee, our new interpreter. Thank you all. My heart is full tonight. And most of all, Evelyn, thank you for showing us your strength and allowing yourself to be vulnerable with your truth to give us all hope, that we can have hope even when we have rough beginnings. Thank you.
Yeah.
Love you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Tosh. Is there anyone else that wants to share? Dusty. Oh, Dusty, you're still on mute.
There we go, I think.
Yep, perfect.
My heart is so full of gratitude, Evelyn. Thank you so much. So very, very much. I'm a year older than you, and I haven't got any grandchildren yet, let alone great grandchildren. And I'm not pressuring my kids. My daughter is Eagle, her father was Raven. But you've given me some good eagle stories to tell her, to remind her who she really is.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate that very much. And also things to say to my grandchildren if and when they come.
Yes.
Also
Thank you.
you're so welcome. I'm humbled and so thankful for what you have shared. And it's touched me so deeply and taught me so deeply. I want to watch the recording and listen again. I would be thankful to listen to you for hours and hours and hours longer, at least. So thank you so very much. Yahweh Ganesh Plinkett for thank you, my daughter's way. And
Thank you.
thank you. And Yahweh is the Kashaya Pomo, the land that I dwell on, their way.
Oh,
I want to say thank you and everybody. Gunta, is that right?
Gunda.
Gunda,
Gunda.
Gunda,
Uh-huh.
Gunda,
Gunda.
Gunda, Gunda again and again, Gunda to you and to everyone who makes these wonderful offerings happen.
Thank you for that, Dusty. Is there anyone else? Otherwise, we're going to close out. I don't want you to not sleep tonight. While we're thinking of that, just from the networks, Evelyn, we've got Sin Pino that says, I am so proud of you. You are an inspiration to me and all the Native women. I love you so much, Auntie. And, you know, that's a really good note to leave us out on. Before I close out and give this time to Evelyn, I want to thank each and every one of you for beaming in, whether that be through our Zoom platform, whether that be through the squads of social media platform that we have. Thank you all for blessing us this evening to make this possible. Let's give this up to our interpreters, Chris Esiando and
Yes.
Kaylee. It's her first time here with us, for making access available for everyone, but especially to Evelyn Naranjo. If you're in Zoom, her email is proudbronco@gmail.com. If you want to follow up anything about the information that she spoke about, especially with something that she has a love for, the neighborhood watch that she was telling us about, please do make sure you email her. If you're watching the recording of it, you would have seen it flashed across. If you want to see the recording of this and share this, please go on our email. We're going to have this available in the next 48 hours. But in saying that, Evelyn, thank you so much for blessing us in this circle of how we rise together, how you've been able to rise, how you've been able to be resilient, not only for you and your next generations, your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, your great great grandchildren,
Great, great, great,
but
great.
also you are descendant of those that have come before you. You carry their powerful storytelling, the arts, the clay, and your beautiful essence. And I want to thank you for sharing that and how important our collective is together with the message that you shared. So by saying that, please let's all give it up for the one and only Evelyn Naranjo.
Thank you, thank you.
And
I,
we'll look
I,
forward to, yeah, Evelyn.
I see my sister down below. Hi, sis.
Oh,
I finally joined back. I don't know what happened to the internet. I lost connection. But I wanted to say, yeah, I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of your family and all you've been through and come through and being present in a good, holy, healthy way. So thank you. I give love and thanks and blessings. Good day.
Oh,
Gunda. Thank you. Gunda.
thank you, Kathy.
And your niece Medina Kailahi says love.
You know, and that, Kathy, we love the rainbow behind you. You know,
You
we're
don't see
going to
my
look
mess.
forward. We're going to look forward to seeing each and every one of you, as Tosh said, on the 9th. This time, same channel, same place. If you want to go, if you're in our social media, you want to come into Zoom, if you're able to get that, go to IndigenousWays.org, look for the Zoom link. We'll see you here next week. But in saying that, be safe, be well. Let's give it up one more time for the one and only Evelyn Naranjo for blessing us this evening.
Oh.
Be safe, be well. We'll catch you next week. Great to see you, Donna. Great to see you, Christine. Love you
Dr.
all.
Chulo is
Thank
10.
you for weaving.
Don't forget your mask.
Darlene.
And
Wear your mask.
Yeah.
Remember
Wear your
to make
mask.
lots of
Protect
trouble.
your grandma. Protect your grandfather. Love you. Bye.